Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go a story titled, Am I the A-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend? And a shout out to Chris for sending this story. And guys, this story is about a guy. He is 25 years old and recently ended a 4.5-year relationship with his girlfriend due to the open relationship they've had for a number of years. And you're going to see that, guess what? It was her idea to do this. And ultimately, things do not work out as they never do. And ultimately, also, you're going to see that she gets kicked to the curb and is not too happy about it. And I'll be going to go over here making the point again, guys, that this is the dumbest thing possible. And unless both people start the relationship together on the same page that they're going to have an open relationship, it's a terrible idea. And never go along with this if your girl brings it up. But it's always funny when the girl brings it up, and ultimately she's the one who wants to close it, and the guy's like, nope, 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 and ends up kicking her to the curb. So it starts off, says here, am I the a-hole breaking up with my long-term girlfriend? My girlfriend, who's 23 and I'm 25, just broke up after 4.5 years together. We were in an open relationship for most of that time. We started out as monogamous, but eventually she, once again, guys, she wanted to open up the relationship. I was terrified of the idea, but after about 6 months of reading up on ENM, ethical non-monogamy, and trying to rewire my brain, we gave it a shot. Smack! In other words, and he's not saying it, 6 months of her whining and browbeating him and probably making ultimatums and everything, and he finally went along with it. Notice how he said rewired his brain. Come on. Well, we started slow and gradually escalated. There were some slip-ups that were emotionally hard for the both of us, but also long stretches where everything felt amazing. During that time, I had a kinky partner on the side to explore some fantasies, and my girlfriend was seeing somebody else. Smack, smack, smack. This is so stupid. You didn't want to do it. You should have just broken up with her. You're going to end up in a breakup anyway, and it's going to be a bad situation. But people got to learn the hard way, and we got a story to listen to. Well, the other guy ended up catching feelings for her and wanted to spend more and more time with her. I was okay with this at first, but he sometimes didn't respect our relationship and wanted her all to himself. You know, it's pretty bad when the guy here is like, I got no problem with that. Go ahead and bang my girlfriend, because this dude has a girl on the side he does kinky shit with. I was okay with that at first, but he sometimes didn't respect blah, blah, blah. He was about 15 years older than her, which always felt a bit creepy. She eventually broke it off with him and even told me that I had been right about him all along. Well, of course you're right. So she was in her early 20s, he's 15 years older. That's a difference. Meanwhile, things with my kinky partner fizzled out because my girlfriend would throw tantrums before my dates. I had to cancel last minute many times because she'd have panic attacks whenever I tried to go see my play partner. Yeah, how interesting that his girlfriend was having sudden panic attacks and health issues every time he was going to go out with his quote-unquote girlfriend to have playtime with, his kinky girlfriend. No, what it is she was no longer hooking up with anybody, so therefore she didn't want him hooking up with anybody, even though this was her idea. Real nice, huh? Well, after that, we decided to stop seeing other people for a while and focus on our relationship. We decided that, or she decided that? Even after we paused the open arrangement, our core issues remained. No kidding. Opening up the relationship isn't going to fix problems you have. It's only going to just drag them out. I have a ridiculously high libido and love ENM/kink lifestyle, while my girl is very vanilla. Our sex life had basically died. I tried to be patient with her, but dealing with a dead bedroom for about 2 years was incredibly frustrating. Smack. Dude, no. You're in your early 20s. The prime for the guy in terms of like the high libido, and 2 years of a dead bedroom. Are you nuts? No, she's not worth it. And this is the same girl that wanted to open things up. And I have a hard time believing the same girl that wanted to open a relationship wasn't getting it someplace else. It was especially tough because a lot of the times I wanted to sleep with somebody else as part of our open relationship agreement, and she refused to allow it. So it's always on her terms. Dude, no wonder this is a fucking mess. Break up. This is not working. On the other hand, I almost always let her do stuff, hoping it will help our bedroom situation. What do you mean let her do stuff? Like with other guys? I mean, what the fuck, man? She's got the best situation, bonehead. We had countless discussions where I told her that sex is really, really important to me and that it's hard to feel so neglected and undesired by your long-term partner. I tried everything to fix this. I read a ton of books, she read books, and even went to therapy, but nothing improved our bedroom situation. Because she's not into you, that's why. Or perhaps maybe she's into girls. Or also perhaps she's hooking up with somebody else or multiple someone else's. Or maybe that guy from who's 15 years older really is in the picture. Think about that. While we started fighting a lot, I wasn't allowed to enjoy the benefits of an open relationship that much, and at home I wasn't getting any intimacy at all. I felt completely starved of affection. Even basic hugs and kisses had basically stopped. Life was stressful for the both of us. She's getting someplace else. I do not buy for a second that all of a sudden she's turned into a freaking nun. Then about a month before our planned summer vacation, I had a serious accident. I destroyed my ankle. After 12 days in the hospital and 2 operations, I finally got to go home. I couldn't move on my own and even had to use a bottle to pee into because standing up was so exhausting. That experience was really traumatic for me, and I'm still struggling with it today. We had all planned to go to a festival together with our friends, but I obviously could not go because of my injury. The day before she left for the festival, we got into a huge fight. She screamed at me and at one point even jumped on me, pressing a cushion over my mouth to shut me up. I was terrified. My injured ankle was exposed and I was completely helpless. This chick is nuts. I think she started a fight with him on purpose so that she could have, we're having a fight and she can go feel like she has permission to hook up with somebody at Music Fest. And back to the whole putting a pillow on his mouth. Hello, we all know what that means. We both said some really mean things to each other in the fight, but what stands out is that she berated me for not doing anything at home. I was literally lying there injured and in pain, fresh out of the hospital, and I know she was under a lot of stress. We were in the middle of moving, and she had to handle most of it herself. But come on, I just gotten home from the hospital, can I catch a break? No, you can't catch a break. They don't care. Injured ankle? Nope, you should be finding a way to man up and help her move the fucking furniture or pack some boxes. They are heartless some are incredibly heartless when it comes to that stuff. Banged up in bed? Nope, they don't care. Why are you just laying around? Anyway, she went off to the festival and we barely spoke while she was gone. Over text, she actually asked me if she was allowed to do anything with somebody at the festival. There you go. I think she started the whole fight on purpose to help, so she could feel like she has an excuse to do that and a reason to justify it. Like hooking up. I was still hurt and angry. I told her to do whatever she wanted, that I didn't care anymore. She planned that. And what happened to remember all this time that they're supposed to have an open relationship and he's not allowed to hook up with other people? Now she is. I also asked if it was okay for a female friend to come over and visit me, a friend I had hooked up with in the past. Previously, my girl hadn't let that friend visit me in the hospital due to jealousy, but this time she said it was fine. In the end, though, no one ended up visiting me anyway. Well, that's because it's a lot easier for women to get some easy sausage than a guy to get some tacos. We texted a bit here and there during the festival, but overall, I was feeling miserable. That was her intent. This chick is awful, dude. Break up with her, for heaven's sake. I told her I wasn't doing great, but I also said I hoped that they were enjoying the festival enough for me. The weather was amazing, our favorite acts were playing, and all our friends were together having a blast. And I was at home alone, in pain, missing out on all of it. And she's having a good old time with Chad and Tyrone. She came home 4 nights later, totally wasted. We talked a little bit, and she admitted that something happened with another guy at the festival. Gee, there's a surprise. Think about a young girl who's 23 years old, who I'm going to assume is above average looks. Not going to be hard at a festival, probably a music festival. Everybody's drunk and high to get a never-ending, literally, there could be a line out of her tent. I mean, come on here. Well, I asked her for details, and she told me the truth. On the first night, he slept in her tent. She was sharing a tent with some of my friends, and they made out. On the last night, she texted him about 5 o'clock in the morning for a booty call, and they had sex outside. I broke up with her because of this. Thank the Lord. You're about 4 years late, or 3 years too late. My God, man, it's about time. Honestly, I've been so effing patient with her. I endured a dead bedroom for 2 years, and because of her insecurities and jealousy, I barely had any fun outside the relationship either, despite it being open. I'm still wondering if during this time when she was not wanting him to have fun in their open relationship, that she was out getting any. I'm convinced she was. My girlfriend, she never initiates anything with me, and 90% of the time I tried, I got rejected. I went through traumatic injury, and I was at my lowest point, and she still chose to do something she knew would hurt me. Well, let's not forget her jumping on you and putting a pillow on your face. She's an asshole, we can all agree there, but at the end of the day, it goes back to fucking Star Wars when Obi-Wan said to Han, who's a bigger fool, the fool or the fool who follows him? In the relationship speak, who's the bigger fool, the a-hole in the relationship or the bigger a-hole that stays with the a-hole in the relationship? Her explanation for sleeping with that guy was, I wanted to feel desired. That infuriated me even more because I'd been telling her for 2 years I wanted to feel desired by her. She couldn't hold off on chasing that feeling for even one festival when I needed her the most. That I'd tell you everything. He's there with his busted ankle. He's hurting. He could really use some help, somebody cooking and bringing him some stuff. But nope, she's off to the festival and blaming him because he can't help her move. Well, she clearly knew it hurt me. She had plenty of time to think about it, and apparently she even told my friends after the first night that she was glad she only made out with him because doing more would hurt me. And yet she still went ahead and had SCX with him on the last night. I guarantee you there was probably more guys and probably more went on than she's letting on. I asked her if she thought there was a chance that I would break up with her over this, and she said yes. When I asked her how likely, she said 50-50. Translation, dude, she doesn't give a shit about you. So she basically flipped a coin on our entire relationship just for a mediocre hookup. Yeah, that's all you're worth to her. I broke up with her because I just couldn't see any other way to get over this. I understand why she did it on a rational level. She wanted to feel desired. Fine. Smack. Stop making excuses for her. But I also feel that I forgave her. She'd do it again the next time she felt insecure, unfulfilled. And I can't get that past the fact that she did this while I was already suffering so much. Thank you. For the record, I still want to be in a ENM, ethical non-monogamous dynamics for the future. Now that some time has passed, I'm starting to second guess my decision. Don't do it, dude. Maybe I'm just missing the good times. I really did love her with all my heart, and we had a lot of history. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with her? Smack! No, you're finally not acting like the a-hole by breaking up with her. The looking at the past through the rose-colored glasses is normal. It happens to most people, okay? But don't let that fool you into thinking you had a good relationship. You didn't, okay? We're barely together. She wanted to open up the relationship. Bad idea. And even though you eventually learned to like it, still, it's not what you wanted. And then after she wasn't getting her way with that guy, then she had you stop doing it because she was sabotaging all your little dates, if you will. And I'm convinced the whole time she's probably seeing the same guy just lying through her teeth. And you weren't getting in the bedroom for 2 years, and she's treating you like this. This is not a good thing. You stay with her, it's only get worse. And, for God's sakes, man. So anyhow, guys, good for him for doing this. These things do not work out, and now he's dumped her and she's toast. But I guarantee you, even though her behavior has demonstrated she doesn't give a shit about him, when things get complicated for her, when things don't work out with the guys as she really wants, and there's guaranteed somebody on the side, she will be back. And I hope this guy has the good sense to reject her. So anyhow, just say no to open relationships. Now, there are some people that obviously asked him questions and commented, and he gave more information, so I'm going to read these now. One guy says, if the relationship is in fact open, OP is way out of line. What rule did the girlfriend break? Not as far as I can see, OP is the a-hole. And he says, well, she didn't break any rule, but I was holding back 2 years and always canceled dates last minute because she would have a mental breakdown. Also, if she allowed me to do stuff, 2 weeks later, she still left me feeling as if I did something wrong. Exactly. She's the one that wanted the open relationship. She always said stuff like, I'm not feeling well. I don't like that particular girl. I'm sick. Can't you please stay home? So I just naturally stopped asking because it was not worth it. Now that I'm the one who's suffering from a heavy accident, I just felt betrayed because I'm compromised so much in this relationship to not hurt her feelings while she's vulnerable. And now for once, I'm vulnerable and didn't get the same treatment. I feel like it's unfair. Do you still think I'm in the wrong? Dude, do not, this is Reddit. Do not argue with crazy. There are people out there that probably believe he's right, but just want to troll him to troll him. Another person says, I think needing to ask permission before you do anything is a mistake. If you're actually open, just be open. There's no need to try and control who the other person gets with. Just trust your partner, or don't be in a relationship with somebody you don't trust. And even with your permission rule, you did give her permission to do whatever she wanted at the festival, so I'm not really sure why you're mad that she did that. Well, this person has a technical point. He did say, go do whatever, because he was mad at her. And he says they were in an open relationship. But the point is, he obviously is just done. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. And our guy responds, I know where you're coming from. The time our open relationship worked the best was the time where we didn't have to ask permission. After she broke up with the older guy, she wanted to stop the open relationship. After months, we decided to ask beforehand how the other person feels. She never stopped seeing that guy. That's what I'm thinking. I asked her several times and almost always ended in her having a tantrum and being mad at me for several days. Manipulation, manipulation, manipulation. And it worked. Don't you want to work on the relationship, she would say. I would also like to have sex, she'd say, but I'm not able to. I don't feel well. Please stay home with me. I never really said no and had no problem with the most stuff, always thinking she would let me if I let her. Now I have a fucking traumatic accident and she goes to the festival. I'm supposed to be there with my friend, but can't because of the pain I have. And the day before the festival, she yells at me that I'm not doing enough for the moving and attacks me. She asks while she's there, can I fool around? I text her, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. That's why she started the fight, dude. Yeah, it was dumb of me, but I mean, she should be aware that I'm feeling like crap. I don't know why she would have to do something like that. She knows exactly she knows. It's going to hurt me, and while I'm already really down. Sorry for the rant, just my thoughts. The post is turning into a diary, haha. Anyhow, he's done with her. It's over, end of story. So, gentlemen, again, don't do the open relationship. And, it's amazing to me just these people that go along with this whole thing. And yeah, I'm glad he dumped her, and good for him. And he's now hopefully moving on. But still, I think the whole time she's had the open relationship and she's gotten him to cave. It's crazy, but a lot of guys just gotta learn the hard way. So anyhow, guys, there you go. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you find a good story, be sure to send it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it's a good one, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.